What's your name?
Raymond Cecil G. G-E-E.
When were you born?
24th of the 4th, 1939.
And when were you married?
23rd, 1963. I better get that one right.
And what is your wife's name?
Doreen G. Was Doreen Brasington from Leamington originally.
And how many children have you got?
4 children.
And how many grandchildren have you got?
12 grandchildren and about 9 great-grandchildren. Yeah, I've lived here since 1964. Originally, my uncle, his father had the street built, and it was they owned all the street, and they gradually sold the houses off all bit by bit, and then this was the last house that they got in the family. And my auntie turned around and said, "Oh, there's Doreen Ray's looking for a house. See if he wants this one." And I said, "Well, I'll come up to have a look." And I said, "Not really." I looked at it. I said, "No," because we're buying a new one down at Silverdale. He said, "Well, the one next door went for £1,050. He said, you can have this one for £850. And I said, "I'll think it over," and I went back home. I said, "No, I don't think I'll bother." So a bit later on that day, he phoned back. He says, "Well, we've come to the decision, if you want the house, you can have it for £500. I says, "Right, done." So I had the house immediately. I've been working in Midland Plant doing plant and machinery installations. Before that, I've been working on lorries, on low loaders, moving machinery. And anyway, I decided, I was at Midland Plant and I was having quite a while there, and I thought, well, I've had enough working for someone else, so I'm going to try it on my own. So I went out and Dad gave me a bit of a backing light to get me started. We brought the tattle and all that, and we'd worked quite well for a while. I had about 10, 12 people working at one time. And was in Rolls-Royce in 71 when Rolls-Royce went bust into liquidation. And I come round the factory early in the morning. Mr. Latham, I think his name was, the works engineer, and he come round and says to all the contractors, telling us all, "Get your equipment out of the factory before 11:30. He says, "Oh, is that right? What we've heard? They're in trouble, Rolls-Royce." He says, "Just do as you're told." He says, "I'm not allowed to say any more." So there was Colborne Brothers, there was Crane Eye firms, and we all got all this stuff was all out in the little lane outside. And when the receivers come in, they come in all their big cars driving down, and they see all this machinery out. They says, "What the hell's going on here?" They said, "We've just heard on the shop floor." He says, "They might be in trouble." He says, "Anyone told you anything?" He says, "No." So we just heard it all on the shop floor. It's the rumours going around all the shop floor. So none of us taking risk of having all our equipment stopped in here. So we're getting it all out. He said, "Well, you get it back." He says, "Yeah, but it's going to be a fortnight tomorrow. We want it now." So we come on, I said, you couldn't do anything. They just went in, put locks all over the gates at Anstey. That was it. Like, I was out of work because that was a main contract then. I was doing a little bit of court halls. That weren't enough to keep it going. I had to lay all the blokes off. Of course, in them days, you could just lay them off then. So I said, "Sorry," and they all knew, like, I said, "Well, fair enough, there's nothing you can do." Oh, then that's when I went into transport. So I got a transit van at the time, so I started using the transits to then, and then brought a pickup truck and all, and it got me other trucks gradually. And I did that then till virtually till today. I mean, trucks still are working with the lorry park. Always working a lot for doing Fords of Basildon. We used to do the tractor plant. We used to do Linwood for Chrysler. I was also Dagenham. We used to do quite a lot of work in Dagenham. Ellesmere Port we used to do for Vauxhalls, taking stuff up. And of course, most of mine was panic loads. Sometimes I could do it 4 times in a week. Overnight, I'd go up and down overnight, and then come back home, get my head down for a couple of hours, and back up and off again. And they used to say at Chrysler, if the bad weather was on, snow and that, because I used to love driving in snow. If the bad weather's on, they turn around and says, "Oh, that's okay, ring Ray up, Ray'll go." Oh, I was quite happy because it was totally different. The people was all there, like, you could leave your front door open. They used to wander in, like, used to be Pearl and Mr. Downs next door, and they just walked in when they felt like it. They just walked in the door. If Mr. Downs come out from next door, he'd just walk round the back and walk in. And if I was asleep on the set, if I'd come in, I'd been out working. If I'd been down, sometimes you go down to Maidenhead to load up for Chrysler, because Chrysler had Till and Stevens down in Maidenhead. I have to go down there, pick a load up there, and it's got to be in Linwood that night. So I had to travel up here. So I'll come up here, get me head down here for about 3 hours in the city, and then get up and I used to go off and take the load, and I could sleep in the cab then once I'd delivered. At the moment, I'm working down to the Longford Lorry Park. One of the lads down there knew I'd worked on lorries, and I knew some of the lads down the lorry park, and they turned around and said they want someone security in the gate. Can you come down and do it? So I went down and did it, and I got there, but my job, I said, I didn't like security, so I used to go around doing maintenance around the yard. I used to go around and telling the drivers what to do and everything, and this, that and the other. So I carried on doing that, and then done my spine a few years ago, and I was going to pack in, and David Hines, the owner, and his manager, they both come up to the house. He says, what are you going to do now? So I was thinking of packing in because my back's gone, my spine. And he said, well, we don't want you to pack in. He said, we've come to the decision that you can come down the yard, you can take over in charge of the yard, start what time you like, go home what time you like, and book what hours you like. I said, done. I said, I'll be down to... And I'll still keep to it now. If I feel like going down, I'll just go down, or if I'll just say to the lads what need doing, and they get it done like that. Oh, I'm helping my son-in-law to do all the work, so I give him a hand to do it, so make sure he gets on all right with it all. It does maintaining what they're putting in a company called Buy Box. And they're like boxes similar to what Amazon boxes have in the garages and that, and they put these boxes in. These are what the bigger type, and it's for Sky Television and British Gas and that, and they have all their stuff put in these big boxes, and they're filled overnight from Red Lane. They've got a warehouse in Red Lane, and everything goes out from Coventry all over Britain. And the boxes have got special keys on, like, and we've got a master key. We go around and take old boxes out, put new boxes in, and do all the installation work. And he wanted a new lorry, like, for it weren't a new one, like, it was a lorry with a crane on it, because he'd been having one on hire and they'd having trouble with it. So he'd seen one, so I could see it. He said, what do you think? I said, well, I was fine. I said, no, sis, if you want to get it and see, just hope it goes, see how it goes. And it doesn't seem as though he's doing too bad with it now at the moment. I'll give him a hand if he gets stuck like now and again. I don't get paid, of course. This area is gradually, it's just built up. There's been houses built all around here. Like, it's just every little space has been put houses on. And like where I was down at Dudley Street, where we had the chip shop, it was complete fields opposite us, just fields. And then over the back we had a little bit of a few houses, and old thatched cottages they were, type things then at that time. And we had St Lawrence's Church, which is a parish church like for Fosel. Then from there onwards, right over until you come to Wimble Road, it was just cornfields. And there were a couple of fish ponds, and then we used to go fishing with the roach pit, we called it, one of them. And then we had courtals as well, and they used to have supply all the fish and chips for courtals for the dinners. And they'd bring an order down, usually about 10:30 in the morning, to my mum and that, and they give it in there, and they used to bring a big old bathtub down with it. Leave the bathtub then, and they used to get all the chips. They used to cook the chips. They used to be in this bag, and there'd be about 70 or 80 different lots of fish and chips and stuff for the men to take back. And they used to come down there, and when it was the dinner hour, they'd come and pick all these chips up to take them back up there, the courtals. And of course, that was by the side of the canal as well, and that was our swimming bath then in them days. Yeah, we had European metal recycling based on Stone Stanton Road. They was building houses there now. It's on the back end of where Courthalls are. They're building all the new houses by the bridge. And they wanted to close the metalworks where it is over on the Stone Stanton Road side, which connects all with Fosel Road. So what the council and everyone was going to shut it down and fetch it all up to this lorry park at Longford, and we're going to have all this metalwork, recycling and everything. I was fetching it there. And all the cars for the West Midlands that were scrap were going to be transferred to this site, and they're being crushed. They've got big crushers. They're going to crush them all and put them in blocks and take them away. So Longford Camp, we had a big meeting like about it and all that, and they got all protest meetings about it. And my wife and that was on the gates down there to stop them building it. And the boss down there, he didn't mind because he was saving his site, because he was going to have it compulsory purchased off him. So he was quite happy with them to be out there at the time, and they fought the petition anyway, kept on, and all of a sudden they decided they were going to pull out because originally it was a big quarry there, and it was about 80 foot on the edges and 100 foot deep in the middle. It was the quarry. And they thought, well, if they've got all the big metal working machines there with all these crushers, they're liable to be sinking into the ground. So they decided against it in the end, because with the cars being crushed, they all be spilt as well, be spilt into the ground, and there's a water system runs underneath there somewhere, and it be polluting the water. And that goes in through to the water at Longford Park, the river that runs through there. There's a brook goes into it, and that's where it's all coming from, across there. So it was kicked out in the end. That'd be about 5 or 6 years ago, that was. When I was a young lad, 16, I used to be in there like with rock and roll and all that. Was country rock and roll. I used to be mixed up with it all then, and I got posted to Germany. And I never really counted it as being country and western. I just counted it as rock and roll. But I had a letter off a girlfriend that I had in Germany at the time when I was posted there. And when I got demobbed, she wrote me a letter, and she, of course, it was the first time I'd ever mentioned like country and western music, because she turned around and says, "Are you still keeping up with your country and western music?" And of course, that was a moniker. That was my girlfriend. I've got the letters in there still now, and Doreen's seen it, and I got a photograph. We said we were going to go over and see whether she was still alive and see if we could find her still. Because we got very nice. We got on okay together over there, and of course I've just kept on with it. Then I've been on BBC a couple of times over at Birmingham, the old Birmingham local radio, on the station over there. I've been a couple of times for different things over there, and it's talked about them, and then I took records over because I got 2,000 downstairs, and I think nearly as many upstairs as well. Majority of country music, a lot of rock and roll. I go to a lot of shows, and a hell of a lot of shows. Been all over the country, used to go, and I've took the kids we used to have. I mean, when I go pick up truck, we took all the kids and down to London, everywhere for the different shows, Manchester, everywhere, just go to it for country music shows. Went to Coventry Theatre once to see Marty Robbins, who had a white sport coat. It was his famous song. So when he started singing that, I'd got and a pink carnation, his song was like. Got a load of pink carnations, wrapped them up with silver paper on the ends and that. And then when he started singing it, I got all the kids to walk down. There was all like, the youngest was about 4 or 5, and the oldest had been about 10 or 11 at the time. And they chucked all these flowers all on the stage and that. And first he looked a bit dubious when he was there. He was, what's going on? Then he realised, then he stopped the band. He says, "Oh, stop everything. And he picked all the flowers up, and he says, "All the years I've been singing that song, it's a hit for me." He says, "Now 1950 something. He says, I've never had that done to me before in all my life." And he went round and got all these pink carnations. He put them in the guitars, on the drums, and he put them everywhere. And they thought it was fantastic. Like, anyway, he said he sung this song for them. The show went out. It was the old Coventry Theatre. We went outside, and of course everyone was queuing up to try and get their autographs. There was hundreds of people there, all in a massive queue and all that. But anyways, 2 girls come out, and they look around and says, "Are you the ones that chucked the pink carnations?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "Marty," says, "can you come straight through?" And he walked her straight through where he was signing them, and he says, "All right, sit down there." And he says, "You'll have coffee and everything and that." And the kids have got a big bag of humbugs. And my son ate nearly all the bag full. And he said, and I said, "That was for my bad throat, they were." He says, "Don't look as I've got any left now." I've got quite a few paintings. I got like this one is. That's Sutton Stop. That's just up the road here in the canal. It's where the Oxford Canal meets the Coventry Canal. Yeah. And that was for that one there and that one there. There was another one I've got, and they were all from down at Salem Chapel. And they had a Christmas auction on once, and Mr. Weatherby, he painted them. And they went into auction. And he had quite a few pictures he'd got. And I brought these 3. I think it was £30 a piece at the time, which was a lot of money then in them days. If you go down on the canal here, and you go that way, you follow the canal right round, you go underneath the motorway. After you've gone past the motorway, you go up there, and there's you can't see it, there's a pub on the side, it's called the Graham Pub. And that bridge, there's that bridge there, there's one there, and then there's another bridge as well as another. There's quite a lot of people. It's quite a big centre there. Roger Moore, the actor, he was there last year. And he was coming down the motorway. And he decided he wanted to eat, and he'd heard about the Greyhound pub, so he phoned up and says, I want a meal for my driver and me and someone else's sister tonight. And apparently he just walked in the pub like, and he said everyone couldn't believe it when Roger Moore sat down there before he died and had a meal with them all. It's a really nice meal. We go quite a lot for a meal up there and shows. About 200 Coventry books, but I've got all sorts of books. Gardening books, book books, all sorts I've got. And I've got the bedroom on the one wall, it's all books, and then I've got boxfuls of tea chests in the attic as well with them. And a lot of them go back to 1800 and they do, like the books. And I keep saying I was going to get them out to look, see what. That was from the old lady next door. And another one from over the road when they died. They said, "Oh, can you look after these books for us?" So of course they just got kept in a tea chest, so about 3 tea chests of them. I've got boxfuls upstairs. I've got that many. I couldn't get them all out. I've got that much of a collection. I can't put the stuff out, and the kids keep playing up. It's about time you got all the stuff and sold it, because you can't use it. You can't look at it. I suppose I don't like it. I like them myself. I've got them, so I've kept them for them. All sorts of cars I've got, and coins. I collect coins. I've got a hell of a lot of coins of all sorts. And I've got Coventry halfpennies, a lot of the old ones, all Coventry halfpennies with the Lady Cadaver on the one side, and it's got all different landmarks of Coventry on the other sides, and altogether it was about 39 coins were stamped back in 1700 and odd. And but I've got about 20 odd different types of them with all different gates and that of Coventry. And I've collected them, and I wouldn't part them. The kids keep saying sell them, and I won't sell them. Gardening, I like gardening. I do my gardening outside a hell of a lot. I'm always then. The trouble is, if kids want gardening done, they phone me up to do it. Like, it was not last year, the year before. Daughter just moved into the house at Poole, and they got a biggish garden. They got trees wanted all trimming back, and the lawn's all sorting out and everything. So we'd gone down for 2 days holiday. About 18 days later, we come back home after doing the garden. We stripped it down, and the trees dug out, and other stuff put in, lawn put down, and everything. Well, it's difficult to say. I think it's very difficult to say at the moment. I don't like the way it's going myself. I'm not very happy at all with it. It's not like it used to be. It seems as though they're just pulling everything down for the sake of it. And like, we're getting student flats in the city centre, and I think it was wrong. I'm not saying the students, there's nothing wrong with them, they're quite good as students, but I think where they built the canal wharf on the outside of the city, there should have been a village there for students. That's what been the ideal place for them. I've always said that. And they could there, but they've got them all in the city centre, and I don't think big companies want to come in there to shops. You know, they're not coming in because it's all young kids who's running about there all the time. And I think it's killing the city centre off. And I've fetched it up with the councillors, but I got no decent reply off them, you know, what to say. Myself, I think it's being spoiled. And the buildings, I don't know, I just don't like the look of some of the buildings. Like there's one down, is it the old gas showroom one? It's all the different colours on it. One way I dare say it looks nice, but I think it's out of place when you got St John's Hall just across the road, like the old grammar school. And I think that grammar school's been done up, and it should be used, I think, without two ways of doubt. Like, yeah, it should be used as an information centre or something like that. It's supposed to be for to do with the car museum. They're supposed to be a lecture hall, but I don't think they've used it at all yet. I haven't seen it being used. The only time I think it's seen to open is on the open days, when they have these heritage open days. I've been down into it. Because the students, I think they could have had a better city, like a little city for themselves, actually built. Because my daughter, I think she's at Lincoln, and the way theirs is, that she was telling me, like, they were near the river. It's the River Trent, isn't it? And I haven't been up yet. I've got to go up and see, because I've been there a short while. And they're on the bank and everything down there. And it's really nice, it is, like, and they enjoy it and that. And it's not like right bang in the city centre. And that's why I think it's trouble. I think they put too many in the city centre myself. Of course, my favourite was Charlie Pride. He was one of my favourites. Well, still is. We've met him a few times. And one year he was on Coventry Theatre, Oxford, Peterborough and the Palladium, and we went to every one of the shows, all in the same week virtually. And when there was at Coventry, the kids got these. He got a song with Red Rose, his song. So of course I got these red roses, and they chucked them. We went and run down the stage, so they chucked them all on the stage, and he picked them all up, and these had the same lock and that. And anyway, later on, he was at the De Vere Hotel in Fairfax Street in Coventry. The next morning, we couldn't get his autograph that night, so Doreen rung up the next morning to see if we could get his autograph. So the receptionist says, "Yes, could you just hold on a minute?" So of course she's sitting there, and she nearly dropped the phone. He turned around and says, "Hi there." This is Charlie Pride, and he says, "What is it you want?" So to get a photograph, an autograph if possible. I said, "If you get down quick," he says, "I can do it straight away for you." He says, "You can do." So anyway, we got down there and we had a meal with him, and he took us in for a meal, sat down, and we had his photographs and everything. It was fantastic. And so anyway, we went down then to the Oxford and the Peterborough, and they kept chucking there, got all these red roses, and they was chucking them all on the stage. And then when we got to the London Palladium, they chucked them on the London Palladium as the kids were good. They run down the stage, chucked them on stage, and then he stopped. He says, "Right, stop. Don't you kids move, you're in trouble." So he made them all stop by the stage, and he turned around and he said, "I want to tell you a story." He says, "This is the Gee family from Coventry." He says, "Everywhere I go," he says, "they keep chucking blooming things at me all the time." He says, "It's been fantastic." He says, "Well, I've never had it done." He says, "And it's absolutely fantastic." And he says, "Every show I've been there so far, they've been and chucked all these red roses at me." That was a London Palladium, that was.
Awesome. So you kind of started a thing, yeah.
Yeah, I do quite a lot with Bob Brolly now. Like he sings, he's on the Coventry and Warwickshire radio a lot. But obviously, he's all over the country. And he's got 2 television shows in America, and his studios are up on Kersley Road at Coventry. And we go up now and again and see him. Like we have a lot to do with Bob. Like we go to a lot of his shows with him, and we sometimes take part in the shows. My mate Lonnie and me, we just we do stupid things, and as Bob says, like, so whenever we've walked up, he turns around and says, "These 2 idiots here," and he says, he one or 2 little things he says, like, but he says, "These 2 idiots here, they're not to do with me, so I'm clear of it." He says, "Don't have anything to do with me." He said, "Not my show." He said, "I don't want nothing to do with them." He said, "Let them carry on and do what they like." It was the Gorman Theatre. I was there on the night Bill Haley come, when the seats were all ripped out. And Bill Haley played there. I always remember that. I never forgot it that night. Was it 57, I think that was, 57, just before I went in the army. And, of course, they had a run of riot in there. And after Bill Haley had finished there, he went from there and he went back up into Broadgate, and we had the Hotel Learfrick then, which got a balcony on it. And it was when we had the proper Broadgate then, with the green and everything in the middle. And he come out with all his band onto the balcony, set all the equipment up, and he played out on the balcony to us all. And there was thousands of people all in Broadgate, and there was all jiving and everything. It was climbing on top of Lady Godiva and everything. It was fantastic, it was. So we all have good fun and all that. Like, it's a load of fun, and we do it for charity. Like, and the one at Stevie's, we collected... it was £1,000 something for the Zoe's Place, and whenever we do it, it's all for Zoe's Place. Every year we do them. It's in February that show is on, and this year we're down at Torquay. And I say they do all the collections. They're really good they are for what they do with it. Yes, I'm interested in photography. Yeah. I've done it a bit like I've always been doing it. So when I was in the army, I've still got my old camera, a little old Dave. 45mm upstairs, and it's a rocker. It was a German one. It's only a little one. Of course, before that, I had old Rainy box cameras. I got 2 or 3 of them. Then I went in about 1974, I think it was. I got one of the first electronic ones when the AE1 first came out. It was the first one. And I had to get one. I tried to get one everywhere, and I couldn't get one. And I had to phone Edwards up at Nuneaton. I said, "Well, I could put you on the waiting list." He said, "It might be about a 6-month waiting list at the time." I was, "Well, okay, put me down for one." And within 2 days, he rung me back. He says, "If you're interested," he said, "we've got one in. it's supposed to be ordered for the man, and he was told he got to pay cash, and he says he hasn't got the cash to pay it, and he can't take on a HP. He says, if you want it, it'll be cash, can you do it? And it was £174 at the time. And I says, I'll be over there within a half hour, and I went straight over and brought it. And that was it. And then I went on to digital. I kept that for years. I wouldn't go over to digital, but I went over to digital about 7-8 years ago. And I got that was a Canon again. Like I got a Canon there. It's I think it's D600, the one I got. And I quite enjoy it. Like, I haven't done quite so much just lately. My daughter now, she's actually doing a course now on it now. She's just been doing a course at like one college. I can't remember which college she went to. It was just a kids' morning. I think I was to go in there. I did some landscapes and that. I've got a box full somewhere. They're all, because they got put away and everything, and I've got them all over the place. Pictures now. I think they all got fed up with me doing it. But my daughter's doing it now, and she's been doing a lot of the landscape she's been doing. Well, I've always been interested in all the old buildings of Coventry, the old Coventry. I've loved it to do. Like, I say I've got books and books about all the stuff and that, and I love to be able to go down and look and see things and that. And I've got quite a few photographs I took if I've gone round, like, to try and get them. And a lot of it seems to be disappearing. A lot of people don't realise actually what Coventry's got. There's that much hidden away. Some fantastic sorceries. Like, if you go around to look for it all, and they've got the Roman piece like at the back of the council house, where next to St Mary's Hall, they've got the tower. There's a tower there, which is a Roman tower, part of it. And a lot of people don't even realise it's there. Always keep going. Never give up. No matter, I've had a few pullbacks, but I've still kept going. And no one stopped me. And I've made a few mistakes, but never worry about the mistakes you made. Learn from them. That's all I've said. I always said that. Learn from what you make. Make a mistake. Make sure you don't do it again. And I say to the kids, they've got to get out and do something. Can't just keep sitting down and not doing anything and go out causing trouble. I was trouble a lot. When I was a kid, I know exactly what it's like because I've done exactly the same thing, so I can't grumble about them too much. But some of it's a bit too silly, I think, what they do. They'll grow up. You can't, they'll just grow up and they say, well, what stupid things I did in them days. Of course, that canal. I've got a book as well. I've sought the book out for that one about the canal. Because the actual canal, when it was first built, the first side of the verse was dug just down here, where your flats are. Yeah. You know where the landing is there? You got that landing stage. Just there, where the first sods of the canal was dug there.
Oh.
1700. It's all in the book, it is. Like,
no way.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What, right where my flat is?
Yeah.
Because my flat overlooks the harbour.
Yeah, that being there. That's where it was all first. When they first started to build it, that's where it was dug.
Wow. Yeah. So.
Oh, you got Pete Waterman as well from Coventry. He lived over at Stoke, and his house there's got a blue plaque on the wall, and it's quite interesting. And he used to work on the railways for a while. It was before he went into music with Carly Malone and all that, doing all that. And he used to be a DJ down at the Locarno Ballroom, which is now the Coventry Library. And he's interested in Coventry, like all the old Coventry, but he lives in Warrington now, but he comes down every Saturday to do the programme. And he really enjoys it, he does. And just up the road from him, you got the Music Museum for Coventry. And you got all the old groups of Coventry all in there, and if you've ever been in, it's a really interesting place. You've got all the groups in there, like Selector, all that. Is it Nathan, one of the Selector? He has a lot to do because he lives up by there, and you see him walking down Ball quite a lot. You do. I've talked to him quite a few times there.
And Pauline Black.
Eh?
Pauline Black.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Pauline Black, she's one of them that's in with the Honky Tonk Rose. She sings with them now. She does.
Awesome. I've met her. I used to work in music.
Did you? Oh, well, the museum, you'd be quite interested in there. See all the different things in there.
Yeah, I met Pauline. She's amazing. I know a few of those guys. I know like Rhoda Dakar, she was like the Body Snatchers, and she did the backing vocals for the specials.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Like Coventry City is a big thing of mine.
Yeah.
Because I followed them to 1947. I started following them.
Tell us something about that.
I've always followed them. I thought they were fantastic, but part I was annoyed about, I never actually went to the cup final. I'd lost interest because I was doing that much work at the time, and I couldn't keep up with the football, so I'd let the football go off. And just after that, I got the time back again. I brought my season tickets, and I kept going to all the football matches, and I never missed a match. And then 2 years ago, we went down to renew our season tickets down there. They offered me to walk around, and the lad on the counter, he said, what do you want? I said, renew our season tickets. Yeah, okay, you got the reference number? I said, yeah, here's the reference number. He said, I can't find the reference number. I said, oh. He got the things, you got the other form. He says, there's another number at the top. I said, I can try that one. I said, try that. I said, still can't get it. I said, look, it's Z5 and Z6. They're on the end of the row because it bends around like that. And so I'm on the end of the row so I can stretch my leg if my leg plays me up because I've had 2 new knees. And he says, oh, he said, I've got it now. He says, Dorian and Ray G. He says, yeah, that's it. Oh, he says, that's okay then. He says, I can give you row AA, 15 and 16. I said, no. Row Z, 5 and 6, my seats are. I said, I've had that since the stadium's opened. Oh, we sold your seats. I went berserk. I won't say some of the language actually come up. I went, fuming over. I said, you got no rights to sell it. You know, he says, they're my seats and that. They said, well, sorry, they've been sold. He says, I said, well, I wanted the end row because of this. He said, I'll give you an end one then. He says, row AA, which is right at the back of, row ZZ, I should say, right at the back of the stadium. I says, as I've just told you, I got a bad leg. So I'm not going to struggle all the way all them steps up there. Because I've come out the doorway, when I come up the first bit of steps, I said, I'll go straight into my seat. And they just said, no, we can do. So I've never, I said, well, forget me season ticket. I said, I won't go again. I've never been again since, except for once. And I went to Wembley last year for the cup final, for the ELF Cup. When we went down there, about 5 or 6 of us all went down together.
So you didn't see, because I'm a West Ham fan.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course we loved it that you smacked Spurs in the FA Cup. Against all, that was a phenomenal final, I remember it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, no one would have bet 10p that Coventry was going to
I know, yeah.
No one. Totally writ it off, and then like 3-2, wasn't it?
Yeah,
3-2.
yeah.
Amazing result.
Like I say, I didn't go, but I was watching it through because I think I've been changing engine actually, and we got it all. We got the truck going and that. And after the match, it would be about 6 o'clock, 6:30 at night, and that Coventry was just alive. It was, everyone's out. And we went out with the truck, and I got all air horns, everything. And we went all up through Fossil everywhere. We got blasting these air horns, and in the end, the burnt of our to did.
Did you ever go to the Speedway?
No, not much. I did go, but
one of the best teams in the UK.
yeah,
Didn't they?
I used to go now and again, not very often. I'd been to 1 or 2, like I'd been there, but not a great deal.
Because I heard a rumour that the stadium, the old Speedway stadium's being
Housing,
developed.
yeah, it's going to be housing on it now, and they're letting the bees are moving over this week. It's just been announced they're going to go to Leicester.
Oh, this week was it?
Yeah, it was in the paper this week.
Where is the stadium? Is it nearby?
Brandon.
Brandon.
Yeah, it's about 3 or 4 miles across that way. It is.
Yeah, right, to the kind of west.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, cool.
It's-
I'm going to pop up there before it gets flattened.
The best way is into town if you catch a bus, unless of course you can bike it. It's no trouble.
Yeah, I'll bike it. I'm happy to bike up to about 5 miles, and anything
Yeah.
further than that, I'm looking for a bus stop.
It's quite a nice place, area around there. It's
Yeah.
a shame because it's a nice stadium. It's like it was all, this tin plated, like the ribble paint. It was all that type of stuff on the outside, but it's all painted up nice. It used to be for the bees and everything on it.
Yeah, I know. It's like random because Coventry had one of the best teams in the UK, didn't they?
Yeah, oh, it was the best of one of the best in the world. They were.
Yeah, yeah, amazing.
And this was it Nardine or something.
I don't know.
He took it over, and he just seemed to, one of the, I think he got it. He wanted to develop that, because it's right on the edge. It's in the green belt virtually. It's at Brandon. It is where it is. It's Brandon Stadium, and so it seems a shame. I don't think. They're going to fight to get planning permission, because the it comes under the rugby council. They want to keep it for a stadium of some sort.
Well, I heard a little whisper that there may be a campaign. Well, there's a campaign going to try and save it, but it seems a bit too late. It seems like they've all decided.
Yeah, it's not far from Coombe Abbey. When you go to Coombe Abbey, if that's on the one main road going to Brinklow, and it's the next one up the road going out. That's going out to Brandon to Rugby that way, and that looks virtually across from where Coombe Abbey is. That's a nice place to go around there.
Yeah, awesome. So you happy with that
idea
about taking photos next Saturday?
Yeah, that'll be okay, yeah.
Right, I appreciate it, mate.
That's okay.
I'm sorry this is kind of quite exhausting.
Oh, that's all right.